Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another of our live drawing sessions. I am so excited that you are here joining us today. We are hanging out with the fabulous Kayla Oliver. Kayla, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited. This is the first time you and I have been live together, but you recently did one of our podcast episodes. Today, you get to draw with us, so I'm very excited for this. Before we dive in, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm from New Zealand and I write a story on Webtoon called The Wolfman of Wulvershire. It's a murder mystery, romance, kind of mash of everything.
Which is so exciting. And we talked all about it on the podcast. We're going to get you back for your own talk show episode soon. But if you are joining us live, we are taking questions today on Kayla, on drawing, on her drawing process, her artwork, all those fun, fabulous things. So go ahead and jump into our chat box and say hello. Oh, we've got a friend hanging out here. Hey, girl, excited that you guys are here. Thanks for joining us. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, today is the day. Kayla, tell us what we're drawing today.
So I've got a picture up here of my two main characters, Carrie and Ren, Karina and Varkarin, whatever you want to call them. That's their names, is it? Maybe. I don't know.
Knows at this point, right?
And I've just drawn them standing, nice and easy, facing 3/4, posing, looking cute.
And I'm very excited because today you're going to show off your fabulous drawing skills, the amazing artwork that you create. What equipment are you using to draw with today?
So I've got a Huion GT191 tablet, whatever that means. It's just a 19-inch display tablet. It's probably one of the cheaper display tablets you can get on the market. I used to have a Wacom Cintiq from about 10 years ago, and it's a bit tiny old thing now. It still goes, but I upgraded to this because it's bigger, I get more workspace, it's cramped, and actually the technology's improved quite a bit since my old Cintiq was made, just for like standard cheap things. So yeah.
So today we're starting off with lining, right?
See how this goes, because I am very picky about my lines and I'm doing an illustration.
Well, I don't blame you there. I feel like that's one of those things where every single artist is going to agree that's something that they're very, very conscientious of as they are doing their work, especially for a live audience. Speaking of our live audience, we are giving quick shout outs today to Mary Jane. Hey girl, thanks for joining. Caitlin is here and she wants to know, how long does it take you to fully line an episode?
2 to 3 days usually. It's not quick by any means. It's quite a lot of work. The lines usually take the longest of any part of making the episode. It's longer than writing, it's longer than coloring, it's longer than doing the backgrounds. It's very arduous.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense because that kind of defines all of your characters, your backgrounds, all of your work. So I feel like that would be the place that takes the most time.
Yeah. There's little things you can do to like speed up the process, like maybe copy a face from somewhere and stick it somewhere else so you don't have to redraw it. Just sort of tweak it a little so it looks different.
I was going to ask that. Do you have some shortcuts that you typically use while you're drawing?
Oh, yes. I use a lot of shortcuts.
That's awesome. So as you're diving in and doing your lining, I am just going to let everybody know that today we are taking questions live. If you are here with us, we would love to get your questions answered. You can jump over into those chat boxes there and leave us your questions and comments. But if you're on our replay, we still want to hear from you. Get down in the comments below and leave your questions on art for Kayla, because we will be monitoring those over the next couple of days and weeks, and we might just be able to get some answers for you. Speaking of which, you are here with me live. We need your help. Jump down in my comments below and leave us some comments about how much fun you're having on today's episode, because YouTube actually weighs these different. Chat is a little bit different than comments, and we need both. So hit us up down in the comments and in the chat box. We're really excited to have all of you here. We've got some fabulous people saying they love your comics so much. Hello to Andrea. Excited that you are here. Mary Jane is loving on your headphones. And Mary Jane would also like to know, how long were you drawing seriously before you started your series?
Well, that's a complicated question. I'd kind of given up on art.
Really?
By the time I kind of, I've gotten bored of not really succeeding in life. So I just sort of got a crappy full-time job, had given up, and then I came up with the idea for the story, and I was like, oh, I don't want to rewrite this again for the third time, so maybe if I do something different with it and make it into a comic, I can get the love back, And I did. And everything's gotten pretty good since I decided that.
That's so interesting. Wow. Marissa is saying she is very much looking forward to your next episode.
Oh, good. Quite a cliffhanger this week.
We were just having a conversation about cliffhangers in a recent live stream, and the fans were loving and hating on it because we know it's so hard to wait an entire week to see what happens after those cliffhangers. But as authors, we know we love those cliffhangers because it gets our fans reading more and more and more.
Yes.
We have some fabulous people hanging out with us here from France. Hey guys, excited that you are here. How did you come up with the idea for your story?
It was just like a confluence of things, reading little bits from history about murdery wards.
That's so funny. See, I love murder related stories. They're just so much fun to read. And we were actually just talking in my author life, because you guys know I write novels. We were just talking about assassin stories. And so I kind of love anything that has to do with like murder mystery or assassins. All of that is so much fun to read and to write. And I see that right now you are working on outlining the face here. And I think you flipped your image. Is that right?
I did. This is just something I do so it doesn't look wonky.
Yeah. I was just going to say, do you flip it a lot to check? Because I know a lot of artists go back and forth just to make sure nothing's out of place.
Yeah. And sometimes it's easier to draw the face from a certain way it's facing. I don't know why that is. Just like maybe it's a left-handed, right-handed thing.
It could be. That definitely could be. If you are joining us live, we would love to get your questions answered. We're answering all things art related today. So if you've got an art question for Kayla, go ahead and jump into our chat box right now so that we can get those answered for you while we're on air and continuing to line today's sketch. So Kayla knew it would take a little bit of time to get that sketch created. She did a little bit of work in advance, and today we're jumping in with the lining. So what does your typical art process look like, Kayla? Do you sketch and then line it and then do all your coloring? Like, how does that look for you?
These days it's basically a sketch and then a line art and then I color. But I used to not even do a line art because I hated doing it so much. But it does make things a little bit easier in the long run if everything's nicely outlined.
That makes sense. That makes sense. When you do your coloring, do you just kind of like have all your lines connected and then just drop the color in and fill the whole section? Yeah. That's what I've been learning from the artists during our live drawing series. So if you guys missed our first 2 episodes, we did hang out with May Rothschild of Brimstone and Roses, and we hung out with Mushmallow of Defects, and they drew on air for us. And I am learning that a lot of people are very intelligently lining their characters and then just filling in each section with the colors to get that flat coloring before doing the shading and the lighting and all the fun stuff. All right. What was that?
The handy technique.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So typically when we are jumping on our live drawings, we get a lot of questions about the program that you're using and then the brushes you're using within it. So what program are you working with today?
I'm working with Clip Studio, and this brush is just one I downloaded from the App Store. It's called heavy soft, whatever that means. I can read it. Most of them are in Japanese or Korean.
Do you have specific brushes that you like to work with all the time, or do you kind of pick and choose as you go?
I kind of pick and choose as I go. It's a miracle if I use the same lining brush each week.
Oh,
I'm like trying to find my holy grail, and I've not quite got there yet.
well, I feel like that takes a lot of time, especially to get to know your characters. So once you start developing your story, you start going through your episodes, after a little bit, you're going to get used to it and you'll be able to pick. But sometimes it takes a little bit to figure out what that holy grail is there.
Yeah, my style of drawing the comic itself has changed quite a bit since I started like 6-8 months ago. So, it's going to look quite different by the end, I think.
I've noticed that is a big thing. Once you get into it, the style starts to change just a little bit because you get comfortable with it, you get to know your characters better, you get to know your emotions better, and it just kind of evolves over time. So for us reading it, I feel like it's really interesting because you jump in knowing the art style and you grow along with the artist. And by the time you get to the end, you don't realize there's been much of a shift. But when you look back, you realize there really has been.
Yeah. It's quite amazing to see the process when you've been following the story for a long while and seeing how much the artist has grown. Like a little teary eye, like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yes. Yes. We do have a question about self-care tips for artists. So what do you have for us in terms of keeping artists healthy and safe as they are drawing?
Well, there's a lot of do what I say and don't do what I do kind of thing, because I probably don't take the best care of myself. I'm like working constantly. I try to take a break every day. Like, I'll sit on my butt for half an hour and read comics and not do anything.
That's a great way to do it, though, because it's also researching your industry. So
I feel like I'm like multitasking there.
Yes.
And I don't know, drink a lot of caffeine, stay up late.
We were actually
eat junk food.
Behind the scenes, we were chatting about our sleeping habits, and one of us is a night owl and the other one is an early morning bird. And I am not the night owl. So I give a lot of credit to you artists who stay up all night drawing. I would much rather wake up at 4 a.m. and do my work. So good on you guys.
Or stay up until 4 a.m.
That's it. You guys stay up until 4 a.m. and I get up at 4 a.m. and we just kind of have the full 24 hours covered at that point.
Yeah. Someone's going to do it.
Exactly. All right, friends, if you are joining us live and you've got questions, now is a great time to go ahead and drop those down below. We are talking all things art today. So if you want to know about technology, if you want to know about the art process, if you want to know about specific characters, now is the time to get those questions in. We will be chatting more with Kayla in the future, specifically about her series. So for now, we're sticking to those art questions, but we want to hear from you. Get in my chat box right now and let me know what your questions are. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. Hello to everybody just jumping on. Today, we're hanging out with Kayla Oliver, the author of the Wolfman of Wulvershire, and she is drawing live on air for us today. And we are getting your questions answered right now in real time as Kayla is lining the characters that she created for today's live drawing. All right. Caitlin would like to know, do you have any tips for shading skin? She has tried to shade in your style because it's so pretty and she never gets it right.
A lot of like study of real life that I've done in the past, and it's just sort of like evolved over time into this kind of fast way of doing it. Not really something I can explain well. I usually shade with multiply layers, and then I draw like paint over the top rather than erase anything. So it adds kind of like a little bit more dimension that way. Just knowing the planes of the face, adding highlights to make it look all shiny. You know, as artists, we're like magpies, we love shiny things.
We are getting a lot of love for the way that you are using light and shading within your work. And they are loving on the way that you interpret light and color within your comics. Shout out there. Sophie wants to know, do you have any tips for shortcuts on coloring or keeping the most important coloring elements simple when you're on a deadline?
Yes, I generally only do one layer of flats, which is a big time saver, so you're not making a new layer for every single color. And the way I do that quite fast is I make sure that I'll have like my drawing, make sure all of the outline matches, like it all lines up, there's no gaps in it. And then you kind of just magic wand in all these blank parts. You inverse that and you just put like a shade down, and then you make a clipping mask on top of that and color in on top of that. So it's not like a whole big thing where you're trying to get every finicky little bit and color over it and draw it. And Clip Studio is a big help for getting your colors in fast, because this paint bucket tool is far superior to Photoshop's.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing there's a lot of fun things in Clip Studio. I'm a Photoshop girl because I'm a photographer, but I definitely need to check this out because you guys have some cool features that Photoshop does not.
It takes a little while to learn, but it's worth it, because I started when I doing my Discover version of the comic. I did that all in Photoshop. And while Photoshop has its perks, it is very volatile, I will say. Crashes a lot for me, and I feel ripped off because I paid so much money to have it.
That's so funny. Speaking of Photoshop, I do have some cool things coming up for you fans next week. If you are enjoying our live draw series next week, we got a little twist on it for you. I am going to be joined by 2 different artists next week. We're going to announce these in the next couple of days, and we're going to do a dual drawing on air, which is a little bit different than you think. So we've got one artist and me. And I am not a person who draws. I am a photographer who does photo manipulation. And so you guys are going to play a little bit of a game with us. It's going to kind of be like Mad Libs. You get to pick a character. So a princess, a warrior, an angel. You get to pick a location. So a city, mountains, a fantasy realm. You're going to give us a couple specifics. And then we have to beat your challenge and both create a piece of artwork based on those parameters alone. So the artist is going to be drawing on air. I'm going to be doing photo manipulation. And at the same time, we're going to create 2 different pieces of artwork for you guys to see live on air right here on our YouTube page. If you have not hit the subscribe and notification bell, now is the time. You are the first to hear about this. We're going to be announcing who those artists are in just a few days, and we're going to be putting up our scheduled live broadcast here on YouTube. I can't wait to tell you more, but for now, just get excited for those dual live art creations here next week. We are getting more questions, which we're so excited about, friends. Stella wants to know, what do you do to avoid the same face syndrome?
That's a hard one. It's pretty common with any artist that they get used to a kind of face that they like to draw. What I like to do is just look at real people and try and see how you would interpret them in your style. And it's important when you're designing a character to, like, I think, in my case anyway, I have like a few words that I use to describe like each feature of their face. Like Carrie has a short nose with a little pointer in it. That's something I like to remember. And Ren's nose is quite straight, so that's something I also remember. And I also like try and remember little bits that make each character quite unique when designing them. So there's lots of things you can look at, like little cleft chins or sharp jaws or round faces. Just study real people and you'll get like the hang of drawing different features for your characters and learn to apply them to your work.
Mary Jane is in the comments saying Photoshop was my first love, but it's so expensive I had to break up with it. Well, that is sad, girl. I'm over here like, please take more of my money if you'll give me more fun things to do with Photoshop.
I still have to use it to like stitch everything together at the end of the week because Clip Studio doesn't quite work with as large files as I need to for Webtoon. So I still need it. It's pretty much just putting a quilt together in the end. The program for putting together the quilt.
Yes. Understood. TM Sharky Nerd is in our comments saying, your drawings are very pretty. And Mary Jane does want to know, how many hours every day are you spending on your drawings?
I'd say around at least 10, right up to 16.
Wow.
Well, that's probably an exaggeration. I do other things, like I go eat, etc., have a shower.
Always a good thing.
Yeah, I try to remain somewhat personal, but drawing's always on my mind.
I feel like it has to be. You've got so much going on inside of your comic. You have to create so many panels every single weekend. You are on a weekly deadline because you are an original. So at that point, this is very much a full-time job for you as you are jumping in on this. TM Sharky Nerd does want to know, do you use references for your clothing design or do you completely make them up because they're beautiful?
I use references, but I use them in a way that's like, I'll take aspects of different outfits and mash them all together. This one that Carrie's wearing is a mixture of 2 outfits that I saw on Pinterest.
Okay, so I gotta ask then, do you sit on Pinterest and just like source all these really great wardrobe pieces for your characters?
Yeah, I just like make huge pinboards and I never look at them again after I've saved it.
You only need to see them once though, right? That's all you need.
I just need a little bit, actually remember them.
I definitely am one of those people that jumps on Pinterest and I get on there for work purposes, but you find so many pretty things, right?
Yeah, and you just sort of like save, all that needs to go on a different pinboard.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's 3 hours later.
Yes, no, that is an actual thing. Friends, let us know. Do you jump on Pinterest and then wind up there for hours and hours? Let us know in the comments below if you're loving on Pinterest and just how long you actually end up staying there when you jump in. Andrea would like to know, what do you do in your downtime to relax?
I lie on my bed and read comics.
Which is great because it's not only relaxing, it's not only entertaining, but it's also market research, which is very important.
I also like to hang out with my pets. I've got 2 rabbits and 2 cats. And an axolotl.
That's so fun. I love that. I love hearing all about pets. Friends, let us know. What animals do you have living with you guys right now? And if you are joining us live, we would love to get your questions answered. Pop over to my chat box right now and let us know your art questions for Kayla Oliver, author of The Wolfman of Wulvershire. She is lining her sketch right now as we create this really pretty piece from her characters, and we would love to get your questions answered if you're joining us live. If you're joining us on our replay, get down in my comments and let me know what your questions are. We might just pull some of your questions for something a little fun later on this week. So pop down in my comments right now and leave your love for this episode if you're joining me live, and leave your questions if you are joining me on the replay. TM Sharky Nerd says, I used to go on Pinterest and plan my life away for hours back when it was a new app. Well, maybe we need to get you back into Pinterest, friend. I can get lost on Google search for research and end up with too much references I'm not going to use. Yep. From there. Scylla is saying, oh, definitely. I go on there to look at one picture and end up looking at a bunch of pictures for a while. I hear you, Scylla. I hear you. All right. So as you're lining, tell us a little bit about what you're looking for specifically as you're lining. What makes a good line? What makes you get a little picky about things? What is your process for lining your characters?
I kind of like to have this balance of complex but also simple. And I really like beautiful pictures that have weighted lines and everything, but I'm not that skilled. I try and fake it. See how I've got this little dark bit under the chin. Some people can just do that with one stroke of the pen, and I'm like, how?
Some people just have certain talents that we do not have, and we have some that they don't have. It's kind of one of those interesting toss-ups, right?
Yeah. You just download the process into your brain, and then it would be easier.
Now, I know you said that the brush that you're working with right now is one that you downloaded. Are you one of those people that just collects really cool brushes for your program?
Mm-hmm. I've got so many brushes. I've got thousands of brushes.
Now, the real question is, have you used them all?
No, not even close.
I've definitely done that in Photoshop for my photo editing, which, I mean, really, you don't need that many brushes for. Some you do with my line of work. But I definitely have a lot that I have not used yet, and probably should figure out how to use those, because that would be fun. Damn Sharky Nerd's in the comments and says, I'm terrible at drawing noses and lips. Do you have any advice?
Yes, study from life, because that's a good indicator of what things actually look like. And finding a style that comes with time. And also it's quite handy to look at other artists you admire and how they tackle it. Maybe do like a few studies of what they've done. I mean, somewhere along the way, you'll come up with your own style.
And if you are looking for more advice on drawing specific parts of your characters, we are going to be joined this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Toon Ladies, by Disney animator Philo Barnhart. He created The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, The Secret of Nim, The Black Cauldron. He worked on Star Trek. He was in Mary Poppins. And he is bringing all the art advice to us this Sunday. He has actually volunteered to teach me how to draw hands and feet. And I'm going to do my best to convince him to show us on air just how to draw Disney princess hands. I'm so excited for this one. If you have not hit the subscribe and notification bell yet, make sure you do, because you do not want to miss this episode with Disney animator who has been credited with saving The Little Mermaid. And I cannot wait for this. He's going to be answering all of your questions. We have a surprise for him. My artists and I have been working on a surprise for him to honor his work in creating the movies that we all grew up with. So we're going to be dropping some really cool stuff on Sunday's episode that he does not know about yet. We've got some cool things coming up on the show as well. If you want to hang out with amazing authors like nope, that was not right. If you want to hang out with amazing authors like Miranda Munt, May Rothschild, we've got Jenna A., we've got Mushmallow, we've got some really cool people hanging out on the show in the next couple of weeks. And we just announced we got the man who produced the Swan Princess movie. So we're really excited for this one. We've got an action-packed May and can't wait for you guys to join us for this one to interact with your favorite authors live on air, both on the talk show and on the podcast with completely unique content. And if you have not checked out Kayla's episode of our podcast, make sure you are checking that out everywhere podcasts are streaming, the Toon Ladies Podcast. All right, let's jump back into some of these questions. Mary Jane says she had so many brushes in Photoshop, but actually doesn't know how to get them for Clip Studio. Any good places for Clip Studio Pro brushes?
Clip Studio has its own asset store, which has a lot of free content. It is amazing for brushes. There's so many fun little things that you can find on there. Spend hours browsing the asset store trying to find what you want.
So I guess that brings me to a question. Do you spend more time browsing the asset store or Pinterest?
Yeah, the asset store, definitely.
Let's see. Any good tips for shortcuts on backgrounds?
Yes, 3D models. 3D models amazing.
Do you have any programs that you specifically use for your 3D models?
Yes, I use SketchUp to a small degree, and I also use Clip Studio's 3D models itself. There are quite a few good paid assets on the Clip Studio asset store.
Wow.
And, I use a few of those in my work. They can get a bit pricey though, so just watch out for that.
Yes, if you are, let's just shout this one out. If you are using programs like SketchUp, if you are using things from asset stores, you do have to make sure you have the licensure to use them. And oftentimes that does require you to pay for them. So please make sure, even if a program is free, that you read all of the rules and regulations, because I know a lot of people have tossed out SketchUp to you all in my last couple of episodes. So I did a little digging. And to use it in something commercial like a webcomic, you do have to be paying for that program. So please make sure that you're reading the licensing agreement before you use anything so that you don't get yourself in legal trouble when you're using something like this. So always check the fine print and make sure that you are paying for an artist's work if you're using it in your own work as well. Scylla says she does have pets. A Russian blue cat and a Chihuahua puppy. Oh, we love it. Anna is in our comments and says, how long did it take you to find your art style? It's beautiful.
Thank you. This is probably a development of about 10 years of work. It's all just sort of not really something you consciously set out to do. It just sort of happens along the way. So I'd say it's about 10 years worth of development in this style.
Now, were you always interested in doing art, or did that come a little bit later in life?
No, I was always interested in doing art. I studied it when I was studying my higher learning education. And it's always what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to do comics. It's just like a dream come true.
Sophie is in our comments and gushing over your work, and she wants to know, how do you balance out responsibilities and personal projects like comics if you're just starting out?
I've engineered my life in a way to have very little responsibility.
That is your takeaway, friends. I want you to all get your phones up right now, snap a picture of what we're doing, put it on social media, and quote that, please.
So I just have to look after my pets, make sure my mortgage is paid, pay the power bill. I'm fine.
That's so funny.
Myself, you know.
I love it. Sophie, if you are looking for help with scheduling your day, making sure you're balancing things and getting that productive time in as well, Toon Ladies is actually educating a bunch of webcomic authors right now in our Discord, but I'm also a social media strategist who helps people to create profitable businesses through their smart social media marketing, and I have a ton of productivity and scheduling tips on my talk show, my podcast, and my YouTube page. You can look me up, youtube.km Robinson, Robinson, like Meet the Robinsons or Swiss Family Robinson. And you can come hang out, kmrobinson.com, socialmediaforbosses.com, and there's tons and tons of resources. But if you need them, DM me on Instagram or social media, and I will send you links. I got you. If you are joining us live, we want to get your questions answered. Get in my chat box right now and drop your art-related questions for Kayla as she is continuing to line her drawing. And then we're going to jump into the next stage of creating a picture, which I think is coloring. Is that right, Kayla?
That's right.
Yay, I'm excited. And everyone's favorite part of the artwork tends to be the coloring and the shading and all the pretty light stuff. So I know everybody's really excited to get to this part. Scylla wants to know, what canvas size do you use for Webtoon? For each chapter, is it just one long canvas or different parts put together?
On Clip Studio, you can't work with the huge long canvas. So I've split it up into 10 parts. My one episode usually ends up being about 200,000 pixels long in the end. So it's quite a lot of pixels. up in there.
Now, as someone, I'm just going to ask the technical question here. As someone who does not draw web comics and does not upload anything to Webtoon, do you, when you are putting in your new episodes, do you upload them in sections, or do you do it all in one long thing? Because I know you stitch things together in Photoshop as well.
So the Webtoon company, they upload it for me, but we have to split it up for them.
Okay.
And we split it into little 1,000 by 1,000 by 8,000 squares.
Okay. Interesting. I always love the tech side of things. Mary Jane would like to know what you're planning on doing with the drawing when you are done. Is this for something specific or just for fun for us today?
It's fun for you guys. I'm going to hopefully finish it up and you can have it as like a little background for your phones or whatever. If I finish it, we'll never know. I might have too much work to do and it'll get lost in the wayside. Like so many other drawings in my life.
That's so funny. Well, hey, if this is a fun cell phone wallpaper, I will totally snag that for the Toon Ladies newsletter if you want to come do an interview with me.
Oh, yes.
Aha! So can I have this one for the newsletter?
Sure.
Yes! Okay, friends, if you want a copy of this is going in the newsletter. We are going to be interviewing Kayla and doing all of the fun, fabulous things inside of our newsletter. You can go to newsletter.toonladies.com to get yourself signed up. This week, we're actually dropping a really great wallpaper from May Rothschild of Brimstone and Roses. We've got an interview with her this week, and we've got some cool things coming up as well. So head on over to newsletter.toonladies.com right now to get yourself signed up, because every single week we're dropping breaking Toon World news. We're doing an exclusive interview with a Webtoon author. We are giving away swag every single week in the form of cell phone wallpapers. Plus, I might have some tricks up my sleeve for upcoming issues. And we're doing character interviews. So your favorite character is going to be answering questions. And we're going to be telling you about events coming up during the week, some opportunities. We're going to be telling you about some of the group cosplays that we're going to be doing at Toon Ladies. We've got a lot going on in this newsletter, so you do not want to miss out, as we're introducing you to authors you might not know yet, series that you might definitely want to read, and getting you a little bit closer to those authors that you know and love. Newsletter.toonladies.com. One of my fabulous people, because you're all here hanging out with me. Somebody drop that in my comments, please. Thank you. All right. Scylla says, yes, can't wait to see it. Yes, I am excited as well. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, now's the time to drop those in the chat box below, as we are continuing to create our wallpaper for the Toon Ladies newsletter, which I am so dang excited for. So, Kayla, talk to me a little bit about the wardrobe that you are creating, because I know you spend a lot of time and a lot of effort creating what your characters are wearing. So for you, how important is this? How much time do you spend on it when it comes to drawing it? And how much do you like to kind of play with what you're creating within wardrobe?
I love designing the costumes. It's very fun. So I spend quite a bit of time doing research for each different character and their look. And I like to kind of design on the fly as I'm drawing the comic, and then I have to like draw it for the rest of the comic. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, I've drawn this needlessly complicated. This is going to be a whole thing.
I was just going to say, have you found that you draw a lot of like really complicated things and then you're stuck continuing with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's one character who used to have like a little lace detailing on his collar and stuff, and it's nope, not anymore.
I kind of went wig, you know.
Yeah. It's there in spirit, you know.
Exactly.
The idea, just imagine it's still there. Suspend your disbelief.
That's so fun. Anna is in our comments and says, what do you do when you're unmotivated to draw?
Well, it's a hard one because I took about 5 years off drawing once. It's just finding something that you really love. Like me writing this story reignited my love for drawing again because I wanted to draw the characters out. It was never really the plan. But then I did, and I was like, I miss this. Maybe it's about finding your love for it again.
I think it also comes down, especially for people who are trying to make a business out of it, is to remember that it is a business and it's something you do have to work on every single day, which is something I teach all of my students in all of my businesses to do. So have a dedicated time to sit down and do your work. It trains your mind to get into that mindset when you sit down, you open your programs up, and you get things done. You guys know that I write novels. And writer's block can be a real thing, but I've trained myself to know that I'm sitting down and working to get around that. Sometimes you just have to do it because it's a business, but especially when it comes down to the fact that it is a business and you're being paid for it, you kind of just have to do it even though you're not motivated. But I have found if you do hit some kind of block, go do some other type of creative thing that is not the same thing. So maybe try writing a story, or maybe try pottery, or maybe paint something with an actual paintbrush, or maybe go create something out of fallen sticks in your yard, create a statue or something that's creative and gets your mind going, but is not the thing that you're having trouble with, and then come back and try it. Usually that helps a little bit. So just a shout out to that as well. So talk to me a little bit about the lace that you're creating, because that's very pretty.
The lace is actually one of my mini brushes.
Really?
Yep, it's just a ribbon that draws lace.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. See, I like a good brush that just allows you to do the detailing. That's fantastic.
That's easy.
So if you are joining us live, we would love to get your questions answered. Go ahead and drop those for us in the chat box. And don't forget to also leave a comment, like an actual comment down below the video to let us know that you are having fun here. But also, while you're doing all the fun things, you are here hanging out with us and you're having lots of fun, right? So of course we want you to bring your friends to the party. A good friend never comes to a party without a friend, right? So let your people know that we are here online. We're creating a drawing on air right now with Kayla, and you want them to come join us. Grab your phone and either take a screenshot or take a picture of your computer, bonus points for a picture of yourself watching the computer, and put it out on social media and give us both a tag over on social media so that we know that you were here, you participated with us, you were watching, and that you invited your friends to come hang out with us as well. Because when you help shout out these episodes, I am then able to do more episodes in the future and bring on more guests like Kayla and some of the other fabulous authors who happen to be hanging out in our chat box right now. We can do more fun, fabulous things if you are giving us these shout outs and bringing more people to the party, because the more people you bring, the more I'm able to do. And like I said, we've got guests like Disney animators and Hollywood producers. We have your favorite Webtoon authors and artists. We've got amazing celebrities coming to join us on the Toon Ladies platform. And we've got big things coming in the next couple of days and weeks. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes, but dang, do we have good things planned for you. So let everybody know that we're here hanging out on YouTube live. It's youtube.com/toonladies right now, having all the fun as we're finishing up lining this drawing. Let's take a look. Scylla says, can you break down the start to finish process for each chapter you make? How many days does it take to storyboard, sketch, do the line art, the coloring, and so on? So can you tell us just a little bit of the basics of your process?
Yeah, it's quite an involved process. So basically I have like a little episode outline that I work from each week, which I've done in advance. And that's like my framework for my story. And I have to kind of work within that to create an episode. So I'll spend one day writing the script, and then once the script's done, I'll start on doing the thumbnailing. The thumbnailing usually takes 1 to 2 days, and then that I send off to my editor to see if they think that I've done good or if I've done bad. And then while that's going, I work on the episode that I wrote the week before. And from that point, it's a matter of splitting up the file to make it manageable to work on, then creating all the panels, setting out the text and the layout of that, and then I work on the lines, which takes about 2 to 3 days. And I've just hired a colorist to help me. So shout out to colorist606HP on Twitter. And they help me with coloring in the stuff, and they send that, well, they color in the characters and send that back to me. I look over it, and because I'm like finicky about how things look, I'll like go over it a little bit to make it look like my style again, and add in the backgrounds, and then I stitch everything together in Photoshop. That whole process usually takes about 5 days.
That's very interesting. I always like hearing about the process and the behind the scenes of how everyone does it, because everybody is a little bit different. And the process and the people who have their hands involved in it as well is very unique to each and every one of these artists and every one of these series. So I always kind of like hearing the background of that. Mary Jane's in our comments going back to how do you draw when you're unmotivated. She says her secret is to change her tool. So going back to paper and pen or using a brush pen, that kind of thing to kind of mix up how she is creating.
That's a good tip. Found that too, just mixing things up a bit reignites the fire.
Now, Kayla, you have been drawing for a good long time at this point, and you are pretty good into your story at this point. So, having experienced all of this and having become settled in what you're creating, what is your favorite part of the process right now? What part really gets you excited, and what do you look forward to each week as you're creating the series? Which is that one part? Is it the sketching, the lining, the coloring? What is that?
I really love it when everything's done. Which is weird because, you know, I'm not really off work for that long after finishing up a page. It's like, well, gotta go to the next one.
Yes, that little tiny little break though.
Yeah, it just feels really great.
Yeah. It's always nice to have a finished product that you can put out into the world, and as much work as you put into it, it feels dang good when it's done, doesn't it?
It's like, yes, met my deadline. Not die of anxiety.
That's also a big thing with those deadlines looming over every single week. It's got to feel really good when you're done, you're safe, you're in the clear on that one.
Yeah, that does feel good.
All right, friends, if you are joining us live, we would love to get your questions answered. Now is a great time to drop those down in the chat box below. And of course, make sure you are hitting that share button. When you hit the share button, that tells YouTube we're doing something good. And when it thinks we're doing something good, it kicks us out to more and more people, which brings more fans to Kayla, more fans to Toon Ladies, and allows both of us to do more cool things for YOU. So hit the share button. Let people know that you're here hanging out, and give us a like down below too, because YouTube loves that. We're just all about making the algorithms happy these days. We are getting more questions coming in, so feel free to go ahead and drop all of your questions in the chat box right now. We would love to get those answered for you. And Kayla, I want to switch gears just a little bit because I tend to talk with these authors and artists a lot about the layers that you're creating. And I know a lot of artists like to create separate layers for things, but then they merge them together. So when it comes to keeping your layers maybe easy to go through, do you like to merge them? Do you like to label them and leave them individual? What do you do for your layers?
I used to merge everything when I first started drawing the comic, but now these days I just sort of like don't merge anything at all, just because I have the space for it. But I try to keep everything separate so it's easier in the long run to like go back in and edit something, or maybe take the line art out and put that somewhere else. It's always handy to have like little bits that you can go back to and fix, because I make a lot of mistakes in my life.
I'm somebody who likes layers too. I mean, my photography art, I keep everything on a separate layer. I don't label them, even though I preach that you should be. I try, I just forget. It's terrible. And I have
don't label either.
Yeah, I have documents with hundreds and hundreds of layers, and finding the layer I want can definitely be an issue. But I like that I have the ability to then go back and fix something if I notice something later on, or if I need to pull one of my models out of my image. So you have the ability to then go back and pull your characters off of the background because you didn't merge it, which I absolutely love. And sometimes when these artists are telling me they're merging things, I just sit here trying not to look horrified because I just can't comprehend that.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson. I don't do that anymore.
Yes, that can definitely be one of those things. All right, friends, if you would like to hang out with us more, we are waiting to answer your questions. Feel free to go ahead and drop those in our chat box right now. Kayla is creating an exclusive wallpaper for the Toon Ladies newsletter. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks. We're so excited about this one. We will let you know when that is going to be dropped. But if you want access to this, you have to be on our newsletter before the day that it drops. Our newsletter drops every single Saturday, where we're bringing you breaking Toon World news, exclusive interviews with author just like Kayla, character interviews with some of your favorite characters from your favorite webcomics, upcoming events and opportunities. We are bringing you all sorts of exclusives, and every single week we gives you exclusive digital swag, maybe some other things as well. You do not want to miss out on this one. You can go over to newsletter.toonladies.com to get yourself signed up. This week we are dropping a magnificent wallpaper from May Rothschild, who is the author of Brimstone and Roses, and last week she actually drew the wallpaper on air for us, and you can go back and watch that episode. It's coming out this Saturday if you want to get your hands on a copy of it. And before that, we hung out with Mushmallow of Defects and Jenna A of Enjoy the Show. And dang, our wallpaper collection is growing and glowing and is amazing, and you do not want to miss out, because once it's gone, you can't get it again. So get yourself signed up, newsletter.toonladies.com, for all of the fun over there. Stella would like to know, what things come to mind that you feel influenced your art and coloring styles?
I really like the work of Lois Van Baal. Lois, I'm sure a lot of people know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, a lot of artists online that I follow that I can't name off the top of my head, because when asked that kind of question, it's like everything falls out.
Yep. Nope. I got it.
And I like the work of, what's his name? J.C. Leyendecker, an illustrator from the early 20th century. Yeah, it's just like a mix-mash of things that I liked already, plus whatever works easiest for me.
I feel like that's always a really important thing. What works easiest?
Like, there's a certain degree of aesthetic that I aim for, but I also don't want it to be overly complex, because I don't have time for that.
Marissa's in our comments saying Lois was one class below her at her animation school.
Wow.
Fancy. I love when I find out my friends have connections. We should maybe get her to come out. I'm just saying. So what are we working on now?
Now I'm just finishing up the lines. I've got pretty much everything outlined that I want to be outlined. I just gotta make sure now that there's not too many gaps in that general outline for when I go and fill it in. So I'm going to merge a couple of these things down just to make that process easier.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always scary, because it's like, what if I've messed up somewhere? But it's too late now. I've done it.
We're getting a shout out for your great taste in artists.
Thank you. It has a lot of personality.
If you are joining us live, we would love to get your questions answered. Go ahead and jump over to our chat box right now and drop your questions for Kayla all about her fancy artwork today. We would love to get as many answered as possible while we are here live. And hey, I like this one. So Mary Jane is in our comments giving Toon Ladies a little bit of a shout out with her question. Which author would you, Kayla, like to see on Toon Ladies?
Well, I've already seen May, which is great. And we'll see on Saturday. I would like to see basically all of my Toon World friends come and do a Toon Ladies chat, because it's really interesting to see everybody's process. I think obviously of
Well, I definitely would like to see all of your friends on Toon Ladies, so please send them over. Friends, please let us know. If you do want to be on an episode of the Toon Ladies Talk Show, podcast, live drawings, the newsletter, all the opportunity we have for you, because that is not even it. You can come over to toonladies.com/guests. That's plural, like a guest, but more than one. On our website, we've got tons and tons of opportunities and all the information about the technology, the requirements, the dates, the times, the things you need to know when it comes to coming on one of our shows or other parts of the platform, because now we're not just shows. So we would love for you guys to come join us at toonladies.com/guests for more information. If you need that link, DM me. I got you.
It's fun. Do it.
In fact, I'm going to jump right in the comments and type that in right now, because I just realized I can. So you've finished your lining. What is the next step for you?
I'm just selecting all the negative space now, and I've got a gap somewhere. Crap. Here we go. Select all that, and select all that, and select all that. Oh, crap. This is going to take a little while. Find all the gaps, fill them in. Here we go. Sometimes it takes a little while to select because the file I'm working on is quite large.
Well, that is understandable. What size do you typically work with? Do you tend to go for that larger size so that you can scale up and scale down, or do you tend to draw smaller and then maybe try to scale up?
I try to do at least 2 times bigger than what I need, just so I can scale up if I need to somewhere down the line. I think it's 3 times bigger than I need. It's just when you're working on the long panel of the comic, there's only so much you can do. You can't really go too much bigger, or else you don't get enough. Well, it's only so long that Photoshop can work with. You get to a point it's like Photoshop starts to cry. And it crashes, and you end up with files called File 25 recovered.
Oh, I have been there. Zilla would like to know, do you have any digital art tips for beginners?
Yeah, learn by doing. Just get in there and see how things work, and have a little play around. If you have any artists that you like that have done tutorials, check out their tutorials. They're always really helpful. YouTube, Skillshare, all that kind of thing.
Oh, Emmy, I see you in the comments, friend. I see you in the comments. Speaking of which, I owe you an email. You'll be hearing from me soon, friend. They are loving on your drawing right now. Over in the chat box, if you are just jumping in, we're hanging out with Kayla Oliver, author of The Wolfman of Wulvershire. She is drawing for us today live on air, and this amazing drawing is going to be an exclusive Toon Ladies newsletter wallpaper. Every single Saturday, we're dropping breaking Toon World news, exclusive interviews with authors and characters, swag just like this amazing wallpaper, and more. You do not want to miss out. Newsletter.toonladies.com. And Kayla's creating an amazing wallpaper for us. She's going to be answering some questions in an exclusive interview, which will be dropping in just a couple of issues. And we cannot wait to tell you more all about that. And we're getting into our coloring stage of the drawing right now. So if you've got art-related questions, get in my comments and go ahead and let us know what those are so that we can get them answered while we are here on air. All right, Kayla, tell me what you're doing.
I am doing the color flats, which is really fun because it's so fast in Clip Studio. So it feels really satisfying to see everything come to life so quickly. Just sort of like drop the color in and it's there, and it doesn't go too far out of the range. It doesn't like Photoshop, how you do an outline and then you fill it in, and there's always like this little gap in between the thing you've drawn and the thing you filled, and you always have to go and fill that little gap in. That doesn't happen so much in Clip Studio, which I love.
Oh, well, that is good to know. I have not gone over and looked at this program yet. Again, not an artist, but I really want to start exploring this program just to kind of see. My goal eventually is to learn to draw well enough that I can draw my book characters by myself without having to wait for people to do them for me. And so I have purchased some courses, but I have not really had time to take them yet. So I am very, very interested in this program and learning the differences because I've played with Photoshop a little bit in some drawing, coloring capacities, and I've definitely noticed that little gap thing that you mentioned. That the struggle's real on that one and very time consuming to fix. So I kind of like that you don't have to deal with that as much in Clip Studio. That is good to know.
Yeah, it is a lifesaver. See, look at that, no gap. Wonderful.
Oh, we've got people who are listening to both our live and Color Bees live over on Instagram. Nice. What do you usually listen to while you're drawing your episodes? Do you listen to music, podcasts, nothing at all? Do you have any recommendations?
I used to listen to music quite a lot. Music is a big inspiration for me, but my music tastes are pretty obscure. Not trying to sound like a elitist or anything. I'm just weird. I like doom metal, a lot of Swedish, Nordic kind of metal. My favorite band is Catatonia, and they are coming out with a new album this Friday, and I am so excited.
That is exciting.
New shirt, an album in the mail.
Nice.
Yeah, so Parker and I actually named after one of their songs.
Ooh, interesting.
And I also like to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I have them playing in the background. I like to watch like Critical Role, Dimension 20, murder mystery kind of true crime things. Love that. And watching like, even though I don't believe in ghosts or anything scary or anything kind of like that, I like to watch paranormal investigation shows. I don't know what. I like to kind of like sit there and be like, that's totally just a chair scraping.
You like the drama of it. I get you.
Yeah. And like trying to debunk it and yell at the screen at them.
It's interactive, right?
Fun?
It's interactive. It's a good thing.
Yeah. If anyone's ever seen BuzzFeed Unsolved, I'm very much like Shane, who doesn't believe in anything, and he's just sort of like not reacting whenever spooky things are happening.
Miss Fanga would like to know, do you watch any art channels on YouTube?
Yes, I watch the Drawfee channel, which I absolutely love. They are so funny. That's my favorite drawing channel.
Emmy is in my comments right now, bringing all of the sass today, Emmy. And she says, your body figures are super good. Did you do a live drawing class at one point, or is this just natural talent?
Well, I've done a lot of life drawing and stuff in my life. But I do have like a little sneaky peek for you. In Clip Studio, if you don't want to spend too much time working on your skeleton and you know kind of what you're doing, they do have these 3D models. And you can set it to your character's parameters, compose them. But they are a bit proportionally weird. So you kind of have to know what you're doing to fix it. But it's just like get your skeleton done so you don't have to sit there and spend ages putting a limb somewhere and you're thinking, oh, it looks terrible. So that's something handy if you've got Clip Studio.
This is like the best program. I am learning so much from all of you artists. This is incredible.
It's real handy. So I recommend that if you're just wanting to save time. But yeah, life drawing is very helpful. I've done a lot of that. And there's like little sites online that have image banks that sort of cycle through images that you can draw from. And you can set the time. You just draw the little figure from that image. I used to do that quite a bit.
Emmy's in my comments saying, I forget I need to bring down the sass meter. Don't you dare. We like the sass here.
Sass is what my story is all about.
Yes. Wait, you've been around me enough, Emmy. You know I like my sass. Keep it up, girl. Don't leave Photoshop, fam.
Oh, no.
So I'm getting Don't Leave Team Photoshop. I'm not leaving Team Photoshop. I'm just also exploring this one. I will never leave Team Photoshop. I'm a photographer. I have to live there. I educate on this. I gotta stay, but I also want to see this because this is fun. Join the dark side. Now they're arguing. This is fun. I like it when you guys argue in the chat.
Photoshop is definitely way better for working on photos than Clip Studio would be. Clip Studio doesn't have quite all the filters and stuff that Photoshop has.
So once the line art is through, this actually goes pretty fast because you are able to kind of fill in your coloring and then you can jump into your shading and all of your fun light things. Emmy's in our comments saying she loves your story because of the sass. Always a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Super overdramatic. Uh-oh. Oh, that's fine. Oh, exhausted. Green uniform. All black all the time. Don't know what color to carry to dress.
Ooh, friends, if you've got an idea, jump into the chat box right now. She might just select your color. Ooh, that's kind of fun when you turn the line art off.
How does that look?
Like modern art. Oh, goodness. I love it. I love it. This is so much fun. Friends, if you've got color suggestions, color choices, now's the time to drop those in. I know we're on a slight time delay, so we're just waiting on your color choices to be coming into my chat box right over here. Let us know what you think we should be working on. Andrea says a deep red.
That's
ooh, I can see
that. Signature color. She does look good in it. Make it a skirt red. Yeah, like that.
I was thinking red as I was watching. That was where I was going.
She wears a lot of red in the comic. kind of like a colour. Fiery and passionate, I would call her.
Up, we're getting more burgundy and wine colors, so we're all thinking in the same vein. I like it.
Good.
Scylla would like to know, what got you into art in the first place?
It's something I've always done since I was a kid. You know, you get reinforced with praise for your good drawing, you want to keep doing it. And that's why I'm so deeply invested in how well I do with art these days. And I require praise. Please praise me.
Okay, you heard her. Get in the comments, in the chat box, leave all the love.
Please, I need it.
Speaking of which, we did drop on Toon Ladies on our YouTube page right here. The other day we dropped a really great video on 3 ways you can be supporting your favorite Webtoon authors without having your face on camera. Because we know the social media algorithms favor video and live video and having your face on camera. So if you don't like to do that, we dropped 3 ways you can be supporting these authors that are maybe something you didn't quite think about. And shouting them out on social media and being involved with their social media and giving them all the praise and the love and like talking to them about their comics. Definitely some of those ways. So we would love to hear from you guys. Head on over to that video when we're done here and leave some comment love on how you have supported your favorite Webtoon authors over there as well. We're getting hearts, we're getting love in the comments, all the good things when it comes to this super pretty wallpaper that you're creating.
Alright, nearly done. Color in the guitar, which is always finicky. So many details on it. Wrong color.
Does it take you forever to create that guitar?
I didn't even create it. I could not have done this. It's just one I downloaded from the warehouse.
That's so funny. I love it. I was going to say that popped up while you were drawing because I was monitoring our chat box. I looked over and all of a sudden it was like there and ready to go. And I was very impressed that you drew all those strings and the frets and just...
Yeah, no, I don't have time for that.
Shortcuts are a good thing, friends. We like them.
It's best not to stress yourself out too much. And I found that people who play instruments are very vocal in the comments about how badly you draw an instrument.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're very, actually, that's wrong. You're supposed to do it like this. It's like, I don't even want to bother with that.
Yes, people tend to have opinions. It's a fun part of creating stories.
I'm just like, it's a fantasy world. Suspend your disbelief a little. Come on, it's fine.
Emmy, can't wait to see the shines next to the nose you do in your style. It's so aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you. Hopefully, I get to that point. Guitars, man. Why are you gonna have so many bits? Yeah.
We basically have Marissa and Emmy in the comments just back and forth on how much they love your art style.
My heart. I'm filled with love.
Marissa's a big fan of the highlight lines that bring in extra clarity as well.
Oh, thank you.
So what else are we doing at this point in your drawing? We've got most of your flat coloring down and ready to go. What's our next step?
The next step is a series of shading layers, which is probably just about 2 or 3 of those, depending on how detailed I want to get with it. And that doesn't take too much time. Uh-oh. Fucked up somewhere. Ren's hair has turned black and so is Carrie's.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I don't
It's
know
a
when that
unique
happened.
take on it, friends. A unique take.
Oh, when did that happen? Maybe it's just on a different layer. And I can just delete it.
Emmy is in our comments and she says, what is your favorite part to do when coloring?
Probably the very end where you're just bringing everything together, making it nice and shiny and shaded, and putting on the highlights. That's always fun.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like a lot of the authors that we've been chatting with do enjoy the highlights, the shading, kind of that tweaking of the colors to make them pop a little bit on the page.
Yeah, it's always very satisfying to see it all come together and just sort of like get all shiny and come to life. So I have to draw this in by hand because the colours are too similar for the colour tool to pick them apart.
If you are joining us live and you just popped on, friends, we are taking questions to answer while we're live on air. If you've got questions for Kayla about art, about drawing, about how she draws her characters, we would love to get those answered for you. Jump into our chat box right now and drop those for us to answer while we're on air. But if you are on our replay, we still want to hear from you. Get into those comments down below and leave us your questions, your comments, your love for today's episode, so that we can get those answered for you. We will be monitoring those over the next couple of days and weeks, and we don't want to miss you. So get down in the comments and let us know that you've been here. And if you are joining us live, get in my comments too, because YouTube likes both the chat and the comments, and it helps us out to grow what we're doing and show this video to more people so more people can hear about the Wolfman of Wulvershire and Kayla's work. We want to make sure that we are getting the news spread, so down in those comments and let YouTube know that we are loving on today's live drawing episode. And then get over in my chat box because I want to hear from you. We're continuing our live drawing series, and we would love to know what artists you would like to see on the live drawing series show here at Toon Ladies. Speaking of which, next week, I've got a special twist on our live drawings for you. I will be joined by two artists. We're going to announce who they are a little bit later this week, and they are going to be drawing on air with me. Now, you know I'm not a drawing artist, but I am a photographic composite artist. So we are going to be playing a little game with you. Over in my Instagram stories later this week, early next week, we're going to be dropping your ability to kind of do a Mad Lib with us. So we're going to ask you for a character, a princess, an angel, a warrior. You get to pick. We're going to ask you for a background, a location. So the mountains, the city, out by the ocean, in a fantasy world, you get to pick. There's a whole bunch of parameters you get to decide on, and we have to take your challenge. Given just those parameters, the artist will be drawing, I will be doing photo composite work, and we'll both be creating a unique piece of art based on the parameters that you gave us. That's going to be live next week. We've got two of these, and we're announcing them later this week, so you can join us for all of the fun. I'm really excited to get it on the artwork because that'll be the first time you guys have seen my work over in the Toon Ladies world. You guys know I do live book covers every single week for my book fans, but now I get to do it with you guys. So I'm very excited for this. It's going to be lots of fun. So get in my comments and let me know if you're excited for next week's spin on our live drawing series. All right, let's check back in. How are we doing? Ooh, that just got cool. So talk to me about the background.
I'm just adding that in so it's gives me a little atmosphere to work with when I'm doing the colors.
I like it.
Stark contrast. All right, here we go. Choose my favorite shading brush. I've settled in on a favorite shading brush much faster than I have a favorite lining brush.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Shading is so much easier. Oops, I have to click that. There we go.
Now, Marissa wants to know if you found a comfortable workflow. Any things that made a big change or a time saver?
Yeah, guess working on with 3D models helps a lot with my time, and using every single asset brush in the store to, like the lace brush I used before, that's quite a good time saver, so you don't have to draw the lace over and over and over again. Just finding little things like that can help save a lot of time. You can spend it all making your characters' faces look cute.
Always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about how you're doing your shading. Are you working on a specific layer, or what does that look like for you?
So this is a multiply layer on top of all the flats, and it's clipped to the same base that they are. And I've just got like a light purple shade you can see in this little box here. I can't really make it bigger. Make this bigger. So this is my palette for the Wolfman of Wulvershire. And these are my shading colors here. I use like a purple just because it's the opposite kind of color of the yellow light. So
Now, did you do a lot of color theory studying as you were working on your art?
A little bit here and there. Not like super involved, but I have like a good enough idea to fake it.
That's all we can ask for, right? Good enough to fake it.
That's all you really need. Too finicky with the shading on the body, just because that's like, you can pretty much almost do whatever there and it looks fine, so long as you have a decent enough knowledge of anatomy. Try to do quite curved kind of lines on the shading, which is quite helpful with a brown brush. I just love that kind of stuff. It just sort of happens right in front of your eyes.
That just added so much dimension to that skirt too, and that was just so quick.
This brush is real good.
Shading goes very fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, shading is the easiest part for me. That's probably why I'm so quick at doing my comic. Even though I've got somebody to help me out now with the colouring. But I do go over a bit of their work just to keep it looking like my style.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can quite do the same kind of thing that you're doing. Everybody has their own kind of unique vision, even if you're copying somebody.
Sure.
Get your own somehow, or at least try to.
Mm-hmm. Well, friends, we are getting toward the end of our broadcast. So if you've got questions for Kayla, now is the time to get those in my chat box right now so that we don't miss you. Make sure you're dropping those over in the chat box right now. We're going to get as many answered before we wrap this up. And right now we are working on the shading. If you're just jumping in, we're hanging out with Kayla, author of The Wolfman of Wulvershire, and she's creating an exclusive wallpaper for the Toon Ladies newsletter, which you can get by going and signing up for newsletter.toonladies.com. Every single Saturday, we're dropping exclusive interviews, exclusive swag. We've got all sorts of upcoming events and things you want to participate in. We're shouting out your cosplays, your fan art, all those fun, fabulous things. And we're growing and growing and growing every single week. We cannot wait to show you what's coming up. This week, we've got May Rothschild of Brimstone and Roses on as our featured author. She's dropping an exclusive wallpaper. She's dropping an exclusive interview. We've got great things happening, plus breaking Toon World news and bonuses and extras, and we're building it up every single week. You do not want to miss out, and Kayla's going to be featured in just a few issues. So if you don't want to miss out, you got to go over to newsletter.toonladies.com right now to get yourself signed up. All right. So, Kayla, what advice do you have for people who want to really grow their artistic skills? What would you say to them to expand on what they're learning?
Work smart, I would say. Like, learn from professionals. Watch YouTube video tutorials, that'll be quite helpful. But also, follow your instincts, because you know what you like and you know what looks good to you. So, produce art for yourself rather than what you think looks good. If something makes you happy, then draw it. If you don't like drawing it, then you're not going to stick with it.
And I feel like that's a very good point. If you don't like what you're doing, it's going to become more of a chore for you than anything else. So make sure you're enjoying what you're doing so that you can find that joy in it when it becomes a little more on the work side than the fun side, so you can keep going with what you're creating. So Kayla, what's the next step for this drawing? Where are we going after this part?
After this, I'll be doing the paint over, which is kind of like the highlights layer. I also kind of knock back some of the shadow a little. It's gone over a bit in some places. I'll be adding some more midtones back in, and then I'll be adding the highlights on top of that. I think we're about ready for that. Just keeping up these ones here. Alright, here we go.
Now I have to ask, because I feel like I've chatted about this with a lot of authors, and I know what I like best. But do you prefer the highlights or the shadows? Which one do you lean more toward?
Highlights. Everyone
Yeah.
highlights, yeah. I think it's because you added them in at the part where the drawing is finally coming together, so that makes you favour it more.
That makes a lot of sense. So how do you go about creating your highlights?
I usually use a normal blending mode layer for highlights, and I just sort of pick a light source kind of and go with that. So I work more on instinct when picking my colours rather than any kind of solid theory, so I don't know how well I'm doing in that regard. It seems to work. I like it anyway.
Emmy is in our comments and says, what has been your favorite scene or panel to draw during the comic so far?
There's one coming up, episode 23, that I spent way too long on, and I won't say too much about it, but it's very, very cute. Very, very saucy.
Always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Won't be for a while yet, seeing as it's only just updated to 12, I think, or 13.
Wow.
10 weeks, guys. 10 weeks. Unless you're on FastPass, then it'll come by a lot quicker.
So tell us what you're doing now.
Just sort of detailing the face, because I think it's important for the face to look really good, because that's where people's eyes are drawn. Just making that look nice and shiny. Beautiful. I'm just going to add a couple of mainly details.
They are looking forward to your upcoming episode in the chat box.
I bet they are. I don't know if people would be quite upset with what I did.
Whoa, that sounds fun.
Yep, but Carrie's going to get her own bet. A lot of comments of people saying, thanks, you made me throw my phone.
Oh.
Thanks, I'm crying now. You know?
I always love when my fans are reading through my books, and I'm just a vicious author. So I get them in my DMs play yelling at me, and it's the most fun thing ever. I love it.
Yes, I thrive on your turmoil.
Just for the record, friends, we do it on purpose.
Yeah, we do.
I'm all about those fun reactions. I love it.
If I can make it like overly dramatic, I will.
Always a fun thing to do. I like the drama in stories.
Yeah. I don't like it in my life. I love it in a story.
Exactly. If we could just keep it out of reality and just leave it in the stories, all about that.
Perfect.
Ooh, that was fun.
Shiny.
We like shiny hair. Do you have a lot of fun when you're putting those highlights in hair?
Oh, yeah. Hello. So soft.
When I'm doing my photography compositions, I love going in and just really playing up the shine in hair, and I feel like in drawing it's just even more fun.
A lot of fun.
So I see that you've reversed your drawing now, and you're checking to make sure everything makes sense and looks good.
Yep. Gotta keep doing that. I do that usually right up until the end.
Well, friends, we are getting toward the end of our live stream, so now is a great time to start popping all of your love, your hearts, your comments for Kayla in the chat box right now so we can shout them out before we go off air. If you are loving on today's wallpaper, make sure you let us know. We want to hear from you about how much you love this, and we also want to hear who you want to see on our next live drawing episode here on Toon Ladies, or the talk show, or the podcast, or featured on the newsletter. So shout out your favorite webcomic authors and artists in the chat box right now, and let me know why you want to see them on the show. Also, please tell me the title of the series they've created, because I don't know everybody, and sometimes I just need that little help. So let me know who you love, why you want them on the show, and what they've written so I can reach out to them and see if I can get them here to hang out with you guys live on air on the Toon Ladies platform. So Kayla, as you're looking at this, what else do you need to complete?
Just add a few more highlights to their body. Maybe add a few patterns to make Harry's dress stand out a little more. That shouldn't take too long.
Ooh, I love those highlights on her dress.
I'm gonna get a
Mary Jane is in the comments saying, this is super fun. Looking forward to the wallpaper. Emmy is saying, this has been absolute magic. And we are getting all the love in that chat box right now.
love you.
I always like it when friends come and support friends. So we thank you all for being here and giving all the love to Kayla today. And for bringing your friends to the party as well. You know we love it when you bring your friends to hang out with us. It's all kinds of fun. And we appreciate each and every one of you being here and joining us today and dropping all the comments, love, in our chat box as well. Graceful Demon Victoria says it looks amazing.
Thank you. See this on a few people's phones.
I'm excited. I'm excited. When this comes out in the newsletter, friends, you got to make sure you grab your phone and you snap a picture and you share it with us. Actually, if you go over to the Toon Ladies page on social media, we've been showing you guys how to do some really cool flat lay imagery to show off your wallpapers that look a little bit like this. And we actually teach you how to do it in one of our recent episodes of the Toon Ladies videos here on our page. You can see our video all about 3 ways you can be supporting your favorite Webtoon authors, and one of them is by creating these flat lay images and putting them out on social media and tagging your favorite author. And we actually have a full playlist tutorial on how you can be doing this step by step, even if you're not a professional, even if you don't have professional equipment, because I am a professional and I'm showing you all the hacks on how to do it with your cell phone and rigging up stuff from your kitchen to make it look more professional. Not even joking. So there's lots of fun ways that you can be doing that, and we teach you how to do it over in that video and on that playlist. So make sure you head on over there, because when you get this wallpaper, I want to see all your pretty flat lay images with Kayla's amazing wallpaper on your phone in a pretty graphic that you're putting out on social media. Emmy says Kayla deserves all the love.
Oh, Emmy deserves all the love too. I'd love to see Emmy do one of these.
Well, I may or may not be working with her on something, so that's all I'm saying. Oh, yes, I owe her an email that came through, and I need to get back to her. We get so many emails at Toon Ladies. Sometimes it takes me a day to get through them because I work through all of my emails in order.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So fun, though. We love hearing from you guys. Please continue to DM and comment and send the emails and all the love. We got some really cool fan art sent in today that I'm going to be sharing in the next couple of days in the next episode of the Toon Ladies newsletter. So if you guys have fan art or cosplays or something that I should be sharing, please send it in. I will put it on my platform. I will put it in my newsletter. I will put it on my social media. Share it, share it, share it, and I will get you out to the world. Skylar Art says, thank you for answering my questions. Can't wait for the next episode. Yeah, it's going to be lots and lots of fun. Speaking of which, while we're wrapping this up, let me tell you what is coming up next on the Toon Ladies platform. So we are going to be doing a number of really cool things throughout the course of this week and next week and the next month. We are going to, on the Toon Ladies talk show, which is every Sunday at 6 p.m., we're going to be hanging out with Philo Barnhart, Disney animator who created The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Secret of NIMH, Rescuers Down Under, The Black Cauldron, worked on Star Trek, was in Mary Poppins. The man has a career. We're going to be hanging out with Miranda Munt of Muted. We're going to be hanging out with May Rothschild of Brimstone and Roses. We're going to be hanging out with Jenna A. of Enjoy the Show and Mushmallow of Defects. We're going to be hanging out with Selden Young, the producer of The Swan Princess, one of my favorite movies growing up. I am so excited for this one, and we've got some really cool things planned for after that as well. Now, this week, if you want to stay tuned and have all the fun with me, on Friday at 3 p.m., possibly 4 p.m., because I have to take my puppy dog to the vet, we will be doing our weekly live Ask Me Anything hangout session over on Instagram every single Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I go live, and I invite you on air with me. If you're a fan, we can talk about your favorite webcomic. If you are an author, we can talk about your webcomic. If you want to just come on and talk to me about my books or about social media marketing or about life, you can do it. It is an hour that is dedicated to you, and you can join me on air and have all the fun every single Friday on Instagram.com/ToonLadies. And this Saturday, I'm so excited for this one. We actually have cosplayer Ms. Phelan. She is joining us to create a cosplay live on air from Webtoon's The Alley Cat, and she's going to be showing exactly how she is creating it. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this one. That is at, I think, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. It's already up on our page, so you can get a notification reminder so that you don't miss out. And then next week, we're going to be doing our dual art creations live with 2 amazing Webtoon creators who are joining me as I'm doing a photo composition, and they are doing an art piece based on the parameters that you are going to be setting inside of my Instagram stories later this week. You give us the character we're creating, the setting we're putting them in, all the different parameters, and we're going to see what both of us decide to create based on those suggestions. It's going to be lots of fun. We can't wait to tell you more about it. Info on that is dropping later this week. We've got some big things coming up in the newsletter, on the podcast. In fact, Ingrid Ochoa of the Kiss Bet is joining us tomorrow on the podcast. So if you're not signed up, we are streaming on all of the not live streaming, on the podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all those fun, fabulous places. So make sure you hang out with that as well, because we're doing all the great things to bring your favorite webcomic authors and artists to you to interact in real time. All right, Kayla, I see you're putting a window in here. Talk to me.
It's just one of those Clip Studio assets I was talking about.
Nice.
Add a quick little background element in to make it look a little more interesting and not take me too much time. I've still got an episode to work on this week.
Yes. And I see that you've added a pattern to her skirt.
Yep. I was going to try and transform it to make it fit better, but my computer started crying about it, so it's just going to stay flat. It's fine.
It is what it is. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Right. So I should add some wine into this glass. It's dark red.
Mary Jane is in my comments and says she's hyped for the duel. It's gonna be fun. It is gonna be so fun. And hey, if you're interested as an author, an artist is actually the word I meant. If you are an artist who wants to come do one of these live duel drawings with me, let me know. I'd love to get you on the show. It's gonna be lots of fun. And I'm excited because I get to whip out my Photoshop and do all the fun things too. And we're getting all the love in that chat box. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. We do appreciate all of you being here, leaving all of the love. We love hearing from you. So the more you talk to us, the more excited we are to hang out with you guys in future episodes as well. So we've got her wine glass filled now. What else are we working on? Oh, the shine.
Shiny.
Nice.
This wine glass is another Clip Studio asset. It's just a brush that I sort of stamped in.
Ah, nice.
And a bit grayscale, so I just go over it to make it look a bit more alive.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, eye shinies. A little bit of sparkle in there.
And the love is coming in over in the chat box. Guys, we appreciate you sending all the love. Go ahead and add a little more because we love hearing from you guys. And if you have questions after this, feel free to drop them down in the comments. We would love to make sure we get those answered for you in the coming days and weeks. So make sure you leave a little comment love down there below. Give the video a like, and if you are so inclined, hit that share button. Let people know that you are here hanging out. Anna has been joining us and listening while she is drawing, and she's very excited about this. Well, good for you, Anna. We appreciate people who know how to multitask and get things done. We're glad we could be inspirational today.
It's always good to have something on in the background while you're drawing. It makes you feel even more productive, I think. It's like, oh, I watched this today, and I listened to this, and I drew this, and I've done so much.
I am all about multitasking. It is one of those really great things where you get to be extra productive because you do more than one thing at once.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you would like to see more videos from Kayla, go ahead and let us know in the chat box. We might just be able to convince her to come back and hang out with us again on Toon Ladies. Of course, we've got some really cool videos coming out from some of the webcomics that you know and love. So if you want to see more from the Wolfman of Wulvershire, you got to make sure you tell me, because I'm making all the good videos based on what you guys want me to read. So let me know what I should be checking out and if I should be making some really amazing videos all about the Wolfman of Wulvershire. Let us know right now. All right. This is looking really cool.
A little bit. A bit of shiny to that.
So what part are you working on now?
I'm just doing the end highlights, which is kind of like just me drawing things into kind of make bits pop that aren't really popping, which is kind of unrealistic in a real world sense, but I like it. I like to add this little highlight in between the characters, just separating them.
Sure.
Yeah. Just a stylistic thing. Somewhere. A few flyaway hair strands. Okay. There's a lot about trial and error.
What was that?
Drawing is a lot about trial and error.
Yeah. I always love the flyaway hairs in artwork and in photography and all those fun, fabulous things. So I like that you're adding them in.
It's a little bit of movement. Put the drawing buckles in. Sure, why not? This I'm just going to copy over and over so I don't have to keep drawing it.
That's always a good idea. That saves so much time.
Do a little bit of fixing, but not too much.
And friends, don't forget, you can get your own copy of today's wallpaper by signing up over at newsletter.toonladies.com. This will get you exclusive access to our weekly Saturday newsletters. Every single Saturday, we're dropping breaking Toon World news, exclusive author interviews, character interviews, swag for everyone. Every single week, we're introducing you to new stories that maybe you don't know yet, new authors maybe you haven't met yet, and we're bringing you opportunities, all sorts of amazing things that are happening during the following week on things that you might have missed the previous week. So you do not want to miss out on our newsletter, newsletter.toonladies.com. for all of the fun. This week, we're hanging out with May Rothschild of Brimstone and Roses. And in the next couple of issues, we're going to be featuring Kayla as well. So if you've got questions for Kayla that are a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit of those questions that people don't ask all the time, I want you to email Toon Ladies, because I might just pick one of your questions for the exclusive interview to go with today's wallpaper in her episode of the newsletter. So hit me up with questions that you've got that are fun, unique, creative, and really exciting to not only read, but get the answer to as well. All right, friends, we are just about at the end of our live stream. Any last thoughts would be a great thing to get into the chat box right now so that we don't miss you. as we're wrapping up today's wallpaper. I would love to hear from you guys, and we are getting lots of comments, lots of love. I'm getting all the notifications right now, so we appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with us today and leaving all the comment love. All right, so what part are we working on now?
Just a few more little finishing touches. I'm just going to add some jewellery for Carrie. So I've got a few brushes, much like the lace brush I showed you before, that can do that in a flash. What should I choose? Here we go. So just set that to two colours. Actually, where's gold? There we go. Nice little bracelet, just like that. And maybe some lace on her shirt.
It's pretty awesome that there are brushes that allow you to just put all of these different assets inside of your drawing and save you so much time. And I love that there's jewelry brushes.
Oh, yes. I would spend ages drawing that kind of thing if it weren't for them.
For sure. Have you created your own brushes, or do you pretty much source them from the asset store?
Most of mine are from the asset store, but I have made a few like crowd brushes, which I can just pop through and show on the screen.
Oh, that's smart.
They take a little while to load because there's so many figures in them, but you can just like have an instant crowd.
Nice. That's really awesome.
And there we go. There's a whole bunch of people just that weren't there before.
Oh, that's neat.
Good for populating the backgrounds of your story. You don't want to draw every single background character. You might have a few silhouettes that look the same, but most people aren't looking at them.
Right. Of course, now that they know, they're going to go back and scour all of your episodes.
Please don't. I make a lot of mistakes.
Quick, distract them with a tip from the next episode.
I do have an episode coming up where I've drawn a character. He wears a tie all the time, except on one panel he's wearing a bow tie for no reason at all. No one said anything, and I'm the only one that's noticed, at least I pointed it out to anyone.
That's so
maybe
funny.
you can look out for that Easter egg, you know? Magical bow tie coming from them. I'll make the background look nice and shiny.
I am loving how this is turning out. This looks so cool.
Thank you. You know what time it is. Okay, time.
So at this point, what are you working on?
I'm just going to do something to make it look like the character's actually standing somewhere. Sort of see a little bit of shadow beneath them. More like they're in an environment rather than just standing in some metaphysical fantasy space.
Floating characters are interesting, but I definitely agree about the shadows there.
Makes it look more like a wall was happening. A bit of light coming in from this background. It looks a bit different. Whoa.
Woo!
That was not my intention.
It was fun though.
It was. Very shiny. That blue looks good.
Now, Kayla, as you're putting on the finishing touches here, can you let everybody know where they can find you on social media to hang out?
Sure. I am Wolfman Comic on Instagram, and I am at Capybacca on Twitter.
And of course, they can read your story over on Webtoon as well. What day do you drop?
I drop on Tuesday.
Fantastic.
Big day, Tuesday. A lot of good comics come out.
Mm-hmm. Emmy is saying this is an awesome wallpaper. Yes, it is. We're excited for this one.
Thank you. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a fun little trick.
Ooh.
To try and unify the colors. Gradient map. Go through these and pick one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I'll choose a blending mode.
Ooh.
Like that. That's a bit bright. Maybe darken. Another one of those. Choose a different blending mode.
Emmy is saying that she absolutely loves using that trick.
It's a good trick. All right, I think I'm pretty much done. I'll just sign it.
Fantastic.
What year is it? 2020. Ta-da!
That looks fantastic. Oh, I love it. Man, the detail work, the light, the shadows, the patterns, it's just so pretty.
Thank you. I'll just make this look a little bit more like it's on your wrist.
Well, I love it. That is so pretty with the colors. Like, it just really pops. And I feel like the window just added so much to it, too.
Well, it's good to have like a little bank of things that you can just fall back on rather than having to agonize over drawing something.
Emmy says, how does she do it, right? I mean, we just saw it, but still.
So that's the picture done.
Fantastic.
Well,
this has been so much fun, Kayla. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the last 2 hours to draw this incredible wallpaper, which you guys can get at newsletter.toonladies.com in just a couple of our issues. And we appreciate you being here, teaching us all the fun clip studio tricks. We cannot wait to have you back. Any last thoughts for aspiring artists?
Keep going. You got to keep going, no matter what. I know it sounds cliche, but it's just like a whole thing.
I feel like that's been the advice that most of the authors have given us. So clearly there is some merit to it.
Yeah.
Well, Kayla, thank you so much.
You can't. There's no escape.
Yes. Thank you so much for drawing with us today. I appreciate you being here. Friends, make sure you head on over to social media and say hello to Kayla. Leave all the comment love on all of her posts and hang out with us at Toon Ladies on all the social media platforms as well. If you've not hit the subscribe and notification bell, now's the time because we've got some really cool episodes coming up in the next couple of days, weeks, and months, and you do not want to miss out on all of the fun. We appreciate each and every one of you being here and joining us today. Make sure you get yourself signed up for the newsletter so you do not miss out on this wallpaper. And we'll see you again later this week for more episodes and next week for our next installment of our live drawing series where I will be going on with some amazing artists as well. We're going to have so much fun with that. We can't wait to see you there. Until then, we hope you all have a fantastic day and stay inspired. Bye, friends.
Bye-bye. Thank you.